All right, and welcome back to episode 6 of Modern Prescription. My name is Dr. Deepak Dukar. I'm a Beverly Hills facial plastic surgeon.
And I'm Dr. Jeff Toll. I'm an internist, and I'm trying to diagnose every case of coronavirus in Los Angeles right now.
In the Los Angeles and maybe the world.
Yeah, we are. We are going worldwide.
Yeah.
Too bad there's no cases other than in America.
I know.
And actually, worldwide wouldn't even be helpful. There's no cases.
No one wants us.
It would be a bad business. You want to be in the coronavirus business in America because we're not good.
Yeah, not in New Zealand.
Anyway,
those docs are
we
not
have a
doing
great
well.
episode today.
We do. We're going to be talking about Kanye West and a little bit about mental health and how we all need to have a little compassion when approaching it with our own friends and family.
This is an episode about compassion and passion.
Compassion and passion, yeah.
So we have Katie Austin.
Katie Austin, the daughter of Denise Austin, who's a guru and fitness icon.
And she's going to talk to us about how to stay fit during coronavirus times.
Yeah, and using virtual technology now that you don't have the gyms, you can still do it at home. There's
you
no
can
excuse.
watch her breaking a leg.
Yeah, on TikTok.
On TikTok.
TikTok, almost 500,000 followers on TikTok.
It's a lot of followers.
Killing it. Yeah, so Katie, Kanye, and we're going to talk a little bit about COVID. It's a great episode.
Good.
Great episode.
Enjoy.
All right, we're back for episode 6.
Are we still counting episodes?
We're counting episodes until we get to like Joe Rogan where you have like 1,400.
Until you get off your two hands.
Yeah. Maybe then we'll stop counting.
Yeah.
All right. First 10, we're going to keep the countdown going. But episode 6, my name is Dr. Deepak Dukar.
I'm Dr. Jeff Toll.
And this is Modern Prescription.
What are we talking about today here?
So today we're talking about some cool stuff. I think, one big thing that's on everyone's mind, you can't ignore it, is mental health and how it can be.
You mean because of our president, or what are we talking about?
Because of a presidential candidate.
Oh, the birthday party.
The birthday party.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, Kanye West has been obviously exploding on Twitter the past week. And I think a lot of people, some people are taking what he's saying very seriously. And some people are just saying that he's lost it, quote unquote, it, whatever that means.
Right.
But I think people aren't understanding that he has a very distinct disease.
Yeah. I mean, I think people have a really not good understanding of bipolar disorder.
Mm-hmm.
I think, part of what people, don't like about what he's saying, he's potentially hurting his daughter and stuff like that. And these are words that he's going to regret.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is bipolar disorder is not something as simple as, he's having mood swings and he gets angry and then he rants.
Right.
It's not something as simple as he's just crazy and says crazy things all the time.
Right.
This is not his permanent state. He doesn't have so there's a difference between a personality disorder where this is just you,
right,
for whatever reason, during your development, you became this caricature of a person. That's a personality disorder.
Right.
Whereas he has moments of real clarity where he's writing beautiful music, lyrics to beautiful music, starting companies, and has real clarity.
Right.
And what bipolar disorder means is the two poles of bipolar are basically depression and mania. Mania being, a word we don't use commonly. Most people know what depression means, where you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to eat, you can't sleep, or you sleep too much, don't want to eat, or you eat too much,
right,
don't feel fun doing any of the activities you normally do. But mania is something people don't really understand.
Right.
But mania is it's a chemical problem in your brain where you don't need sleep, you are living dangerously. Some people may or may not remember everything they're doing. They certainly aren't having their normal checks and balances of, should I really say this thing out loud? What are the ramifications? These are people who gamble their life savings away in a one weekend.
Right.
These are people who go do all sorts of dangerous activities. And for him now, that means, even with his family trying to protect him and his handlers trying to protect him, he can still get on Twitter and do what he's doing. And that's, I think, it's really sad because this is something that medications can really control pretty well. Most people who are manic feel great when they're manic, which is the opposite. Depressed people feel depressed, and usually they want medication to not feel that way.
Right.
Manic people feel amazing.
Yes.
So they don't want help,
Right,
and they don't want to take their meds.
Right, and he's mentioned that he feels like the meds stifle his creativity.
Right.
He feels like when he's, off his meds and able to be more creative, it allows him to make the music he makes, the clothes he makes, the designs he makes. And he made a great point in his interview with David Letterman that he did on Netflix, Meet My Next Guest, where he said, if you want these crazy stages or this crazy music, it might come from someone crazy. And it's such a great line because it's so true. Like, we take for granted that creative artists have to act within the same social bounds that we do. Like, if you think back historically of the most famous artist of the world, like Vincent van Gogh, anyone listening right now knows who that is, right? I don't even know how to explain. Everyone has heard of Van Gogh, right? Some of the most famous paintings in the world. That guy was crazy.
Yeah.
He cut his ear off. He cut his own physical ear off.
Right.
That is not normal.
Right.
And we just, because we don't know him and he wasn't around, these are all historical stories. We present his work as more important than his psychological disorders that he had. He was diagnosed bipolar, diagnosed depressed, a major depressive disorder, all these things, Vincent van Gogh. But yet we give more importance to his body of work. And that's what's sad in social media world is, we immediately forget Kanye's body of work. I mean, this is one of the most talented musicians of our generation, one of the most talented designers of our generation.
Yep.
To create a shoe company that's worth over $1 billion within a span of 6 to 7 years, that's unheard of. I mean, he's competing with Nike, Air Jordans,
Yep.
I mean, it's unheard of to do it that fast. But we ignore it all. The minute his, psychological issues act up. And I think that's the one thing we have to step back and remember. No one remembers Vincent van Gogh for his bipolar disorder. We remember him for his Starry Night.
Right. Well, I think they remember the ear thing.
Yeah, everyone remembers it.
Yeah. I mean, I think for
thing.
a lot of art, we see this with artists throughout the decades have some problems like this.
Yeah.
And some of them are more famous for their art actually because of this too, to be honest. But
yeah. But I think there's a stigma around it, and that's what's really hard for people with mental disorders. It's not like Kanye's the only person with bipolar.
Right.
There are millions of people living with bipolar disorder every day, even more people living with major depressive disorder every day.
Yeah.
And of course in America, giving Lexapro is like candy, and yet we don't talk about it. No one's okay with it. No one's allows it to be a topic of discussion. We talk about, and you can comment on this, people come in and talk about hypertension and they'll go home and tell their friends and family they have hypertension, high blood pressure. Nobody shames them. It's cool. It's like, oh, you're taking meds? You're taking your meds? You're controlling it? Great. But as soon as you say you're depressed and you're taking Lexapro, all of a sudden, everyone looks at you funny. Your friends look at you funny. There's just this stigma that's attached to it. Why is that? I mean, because unless we know why, we'll never know how to get rid of it. So why is that?
this is like one of the main things I talk to a lot of my patients about all the time, especially, you know, I have a lot of patients who are like high-powered CEOs running businesses, and their stress levels are like extremely high. Mm-hmm. And that can, for some people, depending on how many years it's been going on and what else, if there's a real thing that comes up, so they're stressed because of their work, managing family, blah, blah, but let's say they have, you know, child ill, a real thing happens, that can spiral out into a real episode, whether it's depression, mania, something.
Yeah.
And so this is a thing that we deal with all the time. And not, you know, I don't think it should be this way, but it just is this way, where people can never admit mental health issues. They just don't want to.
Right. And do you think, especially the more high-powered you are, you think people are more scared to admit it because they feel that the stigma attached to it may affect their success?
I think that's probably part of it. I do. You know, if they have a knee with arthritis and get a knee replacement, that doesn't mean they shouldn't be CEO anymore.
Right.
But if you have depression, anxiety, that may make the shareholders a little nervous.
Yeah, totally.
So I think,
imagine if you're a publicly traded company and word gets out that you have bipolar,
right?
And automatically, I mean, just think about it from an investor standpoint. I would probably say, I don't know if that guy should be CEO.
But if someone said, so I'm not saying he is, and I don't think he is, but like some of these CEOs that are sort of on the edge of some mental health issues.
I know who you're talking about.
Like Elon.
Yeah.
So, but the thing, I think what we don't really think about is these what a mental health disorder is, like bipolar, is you're sort of detached from the regular circuits that the brain uses. And some of these out of the box thinkers or people who see the world a different way, creative, they don't see the world the way that everyone does.
we do.
So
yeah.
they're like a couple mixed connections away from
You're right.
some mental break.
Right.
And I think a lot of scientists and, like,
they
who
call
knows
them-
if Leonardo da Vinci had some mental disorder? He probably
Right.
did. I mean, look, he's drawing tanks and helicopters in the 1500s.
Right. And that's why they call them mad scientists. Right. Because the whole concept is, like you said, there's some connections that make them mad, but at the same time, that's what makes them genius.
Yeah.
That's what makes them so amazing. So I think we have to protect the greatness of these people instead of focusing on their mental health issues and talk about it more acceptingly rather than belittling. Like, I don't think this is time to cancel Kanye.
I don't think he should. I agree. I think this is time for the super liberal left. I think this is not a time to cancel Kanye. It's a time for us to all educate ourselves about bipolar.
Exactly.
To understand this is something he himself will be embarrassed and regret once he gets out of this episode.
Yes, once he gets back to his major depressive state.
And then he's not going to talk about it in the media that he regrets it and stuff because he has to be, he's proud and, he hasn't acknowledged it that much in the past. But exactly, canceling him doesn't help the other tens of thousands of people who have the same disorder.
Exactly, because you're canceling an entire sect of people who also have bipolar. And this is happening right now in people's homes all over the country. Yesterday, this past week, thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people had either big fights in their house, huge arguments, or there was some sort of psychological, breakdown, whether depression, bipolar, whatever it is. And all of those people just can't be canceled. It has to be something that is discussed and talked about.
We don't do a good job of dealing with mental health at all in this country.
No.
I think one of the other things that I took away from all the, changing how the police is structured stuff that we're talking about is that it was like a very high number of 911 calls. I think it's like 30% are really sort of like either mental health or like family arguments or whatever. And we send someone with a gun and a badge to go deal with it instead of a social worker, instead of, a therapist or something that actually could maybe help that family out instead of just going there, handcuffing this guy who's screaming and then he goes back the next day and nothing's changed.
Right. And I think the perfect example of that, exactly what you're saying, is when someone's about to threaten to commit suicide, they don't send the cop with a gun to that guy. They send they send the guy to calm him down. The guy, they have TV shows about guys like this and they're like, oh, I've never lost a life.
The negotiators?
The negotiators, yeah. So they send these guys instead of the guy with the gun, It's like, why do the terrorists get a negotiator, but then the guy with the mental breakdown gets a gun? Why can't he get a negotiator too? Have someone to talk to him and understand him, but...
Yep. And goes through every aspect of life in America. A lot, the jail system is like 50% just people with mental illness because there's nowhere else for them to go. They
don't have family support.
In the 80s and 90s, they closed a lot of mental hospitals because they really were doing messed up things, lobotomies and just over drugging people. And so because of the press about those things, they closed those places. But the problem is they didn't create new places. So where are they now? They're either homeless, we have a big homeless problem, or they're in jail, a lot of them, one or the other, or sometimes back and forth between the two.
It's a great point. Like back in the 60s, 70s, you always heard of these loony houses. Yeah. And that's gone. Like
they don't exist.
Yeah.
Like the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that type of place.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist. The people in the white, what are those called?
The straight jackets. Yeah, exactly.
Padded room. They don't have a padded room.
Yeah, you're right. And those people are just on the streets now. They're homeless. Yeah. They're all over LA.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad because I think like you said, there's so much room for a conversation and understanding. But I think one thing that we can take away, there's a lot of people who are listening right now. Most of us don't have a significant mental health issue. We're all on the spectrum of depending on our moments and days. But for all those of us who don't have a mental health issue, what we have to remember is to be very cognizant that the people who don't see the world the way we do.
And at least not during especially if they're in their
moment.
Yeah.
So don't expect them. It's like someone without 20/20 vision and you're yelling and shouting at them.
Don't
Why
you see
can't you
this
see
thing?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, how am I supposed to see it? You know, my vision's not good.
Right.
And so when you're getting into an argument with a family member, you're getting into an argument with a friend who you know has is unwell, whether it's depression, which is the most common thing that our listeners probably have. You know, all of us know someone with depression in our families, in our friend circles, you know, and to get on them to like, hey, well, just feel better. It doesn't work like that. It's just like telling someone to, hey, have less blood pressure. Hey, lose weight. You know, like your patients, it's not that simple. So I think that's the biggest thing is for us to have a little bit more compassion and understand that when you're speaking to these people, they're not going to respond the way you want them to. So we have to control our mental stimulus and our impulse to, oh, why aren't they listening to us? Well, they're not hearing the same thing we're hearing.
Right.
You know, so a little compassion goes a long way.
It would be nice.
But we don't need compassion for everyone. There's certain people we don't need compassion for right now. And these are these fake COVID kings. What's going on with this?
I've been reading all sorts of these. It's crazy people trying to scam in the middle of this crisis.
Yeah, so they should go to jail.
People selling fake tests. Some of those like antibody prick tests are like just completely fake.
Completely fake. They just literally buy them from wherever.
They're literally just fake things where you drop blood on them and they may or may not put negative or positive. It's literally not
insane.
So that people selling fake treatments, you know, like pills that are or whatever, IV treatments.
Fake treatment sounds scary. I was gonna say it's fake test. As long as they all say positive, I'm okay with it. Actually, it'll make people stay home and wear masks.
More.
Yeah,
we need more masks.
Yeah.
So we hit 4 million official this week.
Wow.
Over 1 million just in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
I still say, so I think my big takeaway this month on the COVID, I don't want to spend too much time on it because we talk about it too much, but I saw like the New York Times posted this graph where there's more cases in Florida right now than there were during those first few months in New York City.
Wow.
There's all this stuff. So I think there's two things that I'm taking away. One is when the government, the president, when people say that we have more positive cases because we're testing more, that is partially true. So
right.
In New York City, when it was really bad, when the hospitals are full, I honestly think they had 3 million cases just then.
Wow, they just weren't testing enough.
You could only get a test when you're in the hospital.
Yes.
So they tested, and the thing was at that point, the death rate, they thought was like 5%.
Wow.
Now we think the death rate is closer to 0.5%, like 0.5 to 1%.
So way
And what's
less.
interesting is because over half of the deaths are people like over, I think 75 or 80 or nursing home patients, it's even less than that for people who are not in that group. It's really like 0.1 to less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
So this is less dangerous in terms of individual lives. If you get it, it's less dangerous for you than we originally thought.
Right.
But it's so damn infectious. We can't, in this country, we've done a terrible job of slowing it down. So the total number of dead is going to keep climbing because if enough people get infected, it will get into enough at-risk people to kill more people.
Right. And back to basic, simple advice, wear a mask.
People don't want to wear masks.
It's so crazy.
And if you think you have symptoms, get tested. Don't go to work.
Yeah, don't go
to a
partying.
store.
Don't go out. Yeah, just stay home, get tested.
You know, part of the problem right now with the testing is the results take so long. So even, my service, which we were at 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Now we're like at 2 to 3 days sometimes.
It's just
really
because of the volume?
The volume is crazy.
Yeah.
The government ones, the Dodger Stadiums, it's like 7 to 10 days.
Wow.
You're already better by the time your results back. It's pointless.
Right.
And so the government...
But still worth doing it if you're concerned.
Well, you're not going to get the result while you're still sick. So you need to just self-quarantine. If you think you have it, just self-quarantine.
Yeah.
I think where the government really screwed this up in general, and I've talked about this a few times, is we spent so much money to keep the economy afloat, for the PPP money, to pay people $600 a week to not work. $600 a week could be 6 COVID tests a week per person.
Wow.
So if you tested that person 6 times a week, they could work.
Yeah,
because we would
like the
know
bubble. Just like the bubble.
It would be like the NBA bubble.
The NBA bubble.
And so that 600 a week times everyone would make the NBA bubble, which seems to be working. I saw some LeBron dunk highlights on my phone right before I started this.
Thank God. I need those back.
I needed that. And so I don't know. It's just a really mismanaged situation here.
Yeah, really mismanaged situation.
So how is it with you? Things are busier than ever right now, right?
Things are busy because, I think a lot of people who have the ability and the means, not everyone does right now, and God bless everyone going through hard times, but people who have the ability or means and they are able to utilize this downtime where they're not physically going into the office, or may not be working at all, or classically summer breaks always are busiest, so kids are having their time between semesters. This is when we're busy, and so I think it's been nice for a lot of our patients to get the ability to get surgeries and get procedures done right now when they have the downtime. They're able to wear a mask and kind of cover it up. And then go back to life, and nobody knows the better,
That's. I didn't even think about their covering it with a mask. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So no one
That's
can see
so cool.
it, and even if you're out and about, no one knows. But yeah, it's a great time, I think, right now. And elective medical procedures is one of the safest things right now because of the way that we manage it. All of my patients, most of them come to you and get COVID tested. And we require everyone to get COVID tested. That's kind of the standard. So basically, no matter what procedure you're getting done, if you're going for a colonoscopy, if you're going for, a breast mammogram, potentially, even anything invasive for sure, you're going to get a COVID test beforehand. And you should. And your providers are going to require that. So kind of be prepared for that. So if you're going in for any kind of medical procedure.
We're doing them constantly. Biopsy, colonoscopy, endoscopy, surgery, kidney stones, whatever you have.
You're going to get tested. Yeah, which makes sense. So,
well, you don't want to infect the staff and get the surgical suite. I think a lot of the surgical suite getting COVID everywhere would be really bad.
Really bad. Also, if you have COVID and you get intubated with anesthesia, there's a chance that it could, weaken your immune system. You may not have as good of a post-anesthesia recovery.
Yeah, and also you're exposing the anesthesiologist.
Yes, of course.
Because they're aerosolizing the
particles during intubation and extubation. So it's super important. So testing is number one and mandatory for all of us.
When is your wife going to teach us more about intubation?
We should have her on.
Yeah.
We should have her on. This is my plea.
A lot of people, their fear in having surgery is getting put under. They don't want to lose the control.
Totally. I get asked that. I would say 30-40% of my patients are more concerned about the anesthesia than they are the surgery.
They trust you.
Yeah, they trust me. Yeah. But they're scared of anesthesia.
It's
like
interesting. I never even thought about that you always, people, for any surgery, knee replacement, hip replacement, anything elective, anything in the hospital, you're about to have, a bypass heart surgery. Yeah. You always meet the surgeon, but you meet the anesthesiologist in the pre-op area.
Yeah, and you have no choice to say, nope, I'll take another. You have no choice.
I've never really thought about that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I think we kind of just put the trust in the system of anesthesia. Yeah. But, and I think we put the trust in our surgeons. It's so complicated. Oh my God, anesthesia is so complicated. And especially now during COVID, I've been helping my wife. My wife and I work together, for those who don't know, and she's the anesthesiologist while I do the surgeries. And so I've been helping her a lot more with intubation, extubation to get our staff out of the room, and me and her stay in the room doing those parts.
Oh, wow.
And so
because you're an ENT also.
Because I'm an ENT also, so I'm an airway expert. I can help her, I can assist her.
Wow.
And I would rather take that risk than have my staff take the risk. But that being said, it's really interesting because I'm learning so much more about anesthesia. It's almost like back in med school, remember you do like that 2-week rotation? So I'm like relearning all this basics of anesthesia. And it's cute because my wife, I'll be doing something and she'll be like, no, not like that. Hold it like that. And it's like,
I remember anesthesia in med school was the rotation where if you just didn't want to do anything for 6 weeks, like you were too tired from surgery, because you go to the surgery and they don't let you do anything.
Yeah, nothing.
So you just stand there and watch surgery for an hour and then like say, hey, I'm going to go check out one of the other cases and just like go home for 2 hours.
Yeah, especially if they think you were interested in surgery. They'll let you bounce around. Yeah, that's funny. That's definitely funny. There's some great med school memories. Med school is kind of like business school and stuff. Like I feel like the friends and the memories you have for life.
My med school group chat is still daily active to this day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you guys discuss hard cases?
We discuss everything. So we have like we could be like the most amazing specialty clinic in the world.
Yes.
We have orthopedics, spine surgery, anesthesia, radiology, cardiology, internal medicine. So we talk about medicine. We make fun of each other a lot. We talk about sports. We bet. We have fantasy football or whatever. A lot of good stuff.
I love it.
And there's always obviously the one guy we all pick on, and that's great.
He's not the McDreamy of the group.
He's fine, but yeah.
All right, what's his name? No, I'm just kidding.
He recently actually left. They got in a big argument and he like left the group chat.
Oh, I have one of those too. I have one of those.
Someone made this funny analogy. It's like kids at the playground playing basketball, and then you make fun of the one kid and he picks up the ball and takes it home.
Throws it. Yeah, takes the ball home.
Takes the ball home so no one else can play.
Don't take the ball home. Don't take. And again, if you have a psychological disorder, we understand. You know, we're not going to
But
tease
don't
you.
take the ball. You know?
Don't take the ball. Don't take. Well, I'm super excited because today, in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to one of your friends and an amazing
Katie.
fitness guru,
Yeah.
Katie Austin.
So I wanted to have Katie on today because what I was talking to her about is my normal exercise routines are ruined again because the gym's closed. I have a gym in my building, and that I was able to, at least during the week, I would get home, I would change before sitting on the couch and go straight to the gym and either ride the bike, lift, do something.
Amazing.
And when I get regular home, if it's something like push-ups or whatever, I just can't get myself to do it.
And yeah.
So I thought it'd be interesting to have her on and talk about how we're going to get fit.
Yeah. Talk about her journey through her new app and how she's helping people who can't go to a gym right now and what we can be doing. So that's super exciting. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was with your patients right now, what are you guys doing in terms of all of your maintenance visits and stuff like that? Is it all you maintaining the virtual, or are people starting to come back in now?
So we were coming back until things got worse again.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, for people who have sort of mild to moderate health concerns, so let's say 1 to 2, like maybe hypertension, high cholesterol, but relatively healthy, I'm doing sort of something that I'm calling a modified physical. So what I'm doing is I'm having the nurse go take fasting labs early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 days later, we'll have like a 45-minute phone or virtual chat.
Oh, cool.
Where we'll talk about what are you doing to exercise right now?
Wow.
What are you eating? How's your diet been? What's your weight right now? Most of my patients are pretty good about being able to check their own blood pressure and things. So we can do and my nurse, when they do the blood, will take the vitals and stuff like that. We have an EKG machine we can port out.
Amazing.
So we can I can't examine them. And so that's missing this year for some people. For anyone who has more serious medical problems, diabetes in particular being one that comes to mind, people with neurologic conditions where they really need to be examined again.
Mm-hmm.
We're having people in, but I'm trying to keep it to like 3 or 4 a day just to keep safe. Yeah. We're testing our own staff now like twice a week.
Amazing.
I'm testing myself almost every day. I already had it, so I don't even think I can have it again. But I'm getting
just
paranoid.
to be safe.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one to ask about, because there was this whole theory that once you get COVID, you can never get it again. Then they said once you get COVID, you can get it again. Now they're saying once you get COVID, it may just test positive for a long time because of the fragments of the actual virus that are still in you.
Yeah.
And so it may just be positive forever. What's your opinion on that?
So different viruses act differently affect the immune system differently in general. And then each individual's immune system slightly different from each other. So certain viruses and certain vaccines, like the measles, the vaccine is really effective. And if you check people's IgG levels 50 years after the vaccine, they still have like pretty good IgG levels. Coronavirus is new, so we don't know how long the antibodies are going to last for.
Right.
But we also have largely ignored the general of the immune system, which are the T cells. Mm-hmm. And so even people who have waning titers, which is the total number, if you count out how many antibodies they have, even if their IgG levels are dropping, what we don't have a great understanding is if they were exposed again, could the T cells really quickly within a few hours get that number way up and you wouldn't really get sick again or get sort of very mildly sick?
Right.
So we don't have a great answer. We know people have tested positive on a PCR test more than once. But again, that could be a dead fragment of a virus from a week before, a month before. They could have had it before and then actually someone else sneezes on them who has live virus and they don't even get sick again, but they can get swabbed positive again. And a lot of the tests where people are positive again, they're all these anecdotal, it's like, oh, I heard this. I mean, I want to see a chart where I want to see the original positive test. I want to see the second positive test. I want to talk to this person. Did they have symptoms again?
Right.
Were they on immunosuppression? I need to know the full story.
Right.
This is a very rare, if it's an event, it's a very rare event.
Yes.
That's a different question from what about a year from now? What about 2 years from now?
Yeah.
So we're still in the first like 6 or I guess July, so 7-8 months of this now.
Yeah.
And we really aren't seeing it commonly happen. And we hope the vaccine, if it and when it comes, the government billions of dollars on the vaccine potentially
Already spent,
or at least guaranteed if they can produce. I think
Right. Right before the election, it might come out.
right before the election, that would benefit someone. I don't know who. It would.
right
It
before
would
the
probably
election.
benefit someone. Yeah, because he's not paying for testing for everyone, which would probably be cheaper. But the vaccine to come out right before the election sounds good.
Right. Yeah, if only we could have controlled the spread a little bit better.
That could have
kept the
helped.
economy open a little
That
bit
would
better.
have been nice.
Yeah, interesting stuff. But, I'm excited
See,
because...
he seems more like a personality disorder kind of guy.
Right. Versus like a bipolar where it's...
Because Trump, it's not as if he's ever different from this.
That's right.
He's this
Yeah.
way. He does have a grasp of reality. He's sort of
he's the
outside the
president.
graph sometimes.
Yeah, but he's the president.
He has like, in my opinion, he goes beyond just a normal egomaniac to where he thinks the world really revolves around, where the only thing that's important is, so it doesn't matter if America's economy is bad, it's just if the economy is bad, how does that reflect on him as a president? That's
Right.
like how he sees it.
Right, like maybe a narcissistic.
Yeah, like a narcissistic personality disorder.
Yes, but not bipolar.
And some traits, so that's what becomes hard is, and a mental health professional psychiatrist could probably explain this better.
Yeah, we'll have one up.
But some traits can be shared between someone in the middle of a manic episode and someone who has narcissistic personality disorder.
Right.
But the path to that or the length of time they're having it is different. And also, typically with someone with these personality disorders, this is not something that can be treated with a medication.
Right.
So you give them a bipolar medication, you may sedate them,
Yes.
but you're not going to change their thinking patterns. You're not going to change their behavior.
Right.
And so I think that's sort of actually a pretty good
Analogy, yeah.
comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Yeah, well, it's good because we're going to be talking about fitness next. And fitness
like
is
fitness.
in fitness, no matter what,
What's
no matter
your
what
fitness
state you're
routine
in.
right now?
Oh, it's tough. I used lack of. I used to be pretty good about it. Had a couple of trainers that I was working out with on a pretty regular basis. I've always been the fat kid, like my whole life. It's like Bill Clinton. I used to always look up to him when I was a kid, and I loved his interviews because he's like, I'm just trying to lose weight every day, and it's like I feel that.
Maybe we should have Katie train us after each episode.
I think so. I mean, we'll see. Let's both
see.
download
We
the
gotta
app.
see the credentials.
Yeah, let's see the credentials. Let's understand her interview today, and but I'm super excited to hear from her. But my thing was trainers and eating right.
Yeah,
and trainer's important. It just makes your workout so much better if you don't have that innate discipline. You have a much more disciplined
I have
approach to
discipline,
it.
but I like, when I was playing like in a soccer league and I had I would realize like I'll run out of gas by the end of the game unless I get my cardio in this week.
Yeah.
That was a huge push to getting me up.
So you had a measurement scale with your own leisure activity. You got
because it's one thing to see, doing this many miles and how many minutes.
Yeah.
But there's another thing when you need to like flip the gear to like make a hard sprint after you've been playing for 45 minutes.
Yes.
And it's harder when you get older.
It's harder when you get older. That's right. And so there's never a better time to get in shape than today. For anyone in the world. Anyone.
I think now
Today's the day.
It's this weird thing where we probably have more time than ever, but it's disorganized time because we don't have schedules.
Yeah.
And then it's harder to, if someone is used to, I see my trainer at 5:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're going to work out 3 days a week. You're paying them.
Yes.
You don't want to waste your money.
Right.
It's a routine. It's in the schedule.
Yes.
Your assistant's going to remind you, hey, your trainer's coming at 5:30.
Right.
But when it's up to you to put down the remote and pick up the
Right.
barbell. It's a little harder.
Yeah, and not eat or drink, not have something, because that's the other thing. You have to plan your whole day around
Yeah,
it.
and the whiskey's like sitting right there. and
I know. Tequila's
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
It's right there.
I know. And that's what I
It's
love.
not right there in the gym.
It's not right there in the gym.
But in my living room, it's right there in the bar, right there.
That's right. And that's what I loved Ariani last week, what she said, that one line. She said that, when you feel the moment strike, because all of us have that every day, we all have at least one or two moments where you just feel that energy boost. She's like, take advantage of it. That's the
Yeah.
minute you go work out
She
immediately.
would know too. She's in pretty good shape.
Amazing shape.
Yeah.
Amazing shape. What a fun episode with
That
her.
was great.
Yeah, that was great.
You all probably listened and liked it, so.
Yeah, you guys have learned a lot from her, and as did we. So I'm super excited. We're going to talk today with Miss Katie, and let's go ahead and let's get started.
Let's get to the interview.
All right, and we are back with our amazing guest for today, the one and only Miss Katie Austin.
Hi,
Fitness
guys.
Guru, Katie Austin app,
Sports host.
sports host, original Virginia native who's now killing it here in LA and is going to teach us a lot.
Finally, someone with a little energy in here.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
hi guys.
Yeah.
What's up?
How
Thanks
do
for
you
the
have
intro.
so much energy? I think that's the first question that comes to mind for me.
I this sounds so cliche and so lame. It's just kind of who I am. And my mom always taught me to have a lot of energy. I just every morning wake up with a positive attitude. So it sounds like the most annoying answer ever, but I just kind of always have energy. But I'll tell you, I do crash at night.
So this is what I noticed when I watch your videos or we watch your on talking about sports, but also more impressively when you're doing workouts. The people in the background are like dying, look like they're dying, and you have like the biggest smile on your face.
I was
how do you
always
do that?
taught, again, to have a smile on my face when I'm working out. And so that's also it's my job. It's like, how do you guys do it? How do you guys go to work every day and be a doctor? It's my job to smile when I work out. And that's
great.
how I was taught ever since I was 6 weeks old. I have watched my mom film her TV show, her DVDs, her VHSs. She had her own TV show for 26 years.
Wow.
And so I always watched her when I was little, smiling while she was working out. And I kind of just was media trained in that way, I guess.
And your mom is Denise Austin. I mean, she's a
Yes.
big deal. Your mom's huge. I grew
Yeah.
up seeing your mom's tapes in my house. My parents used to have Jane Fonda tapes, Denise Austin tapes. I remember just the face. I remember the image, the energy, and so that's so cool. I mean, growing
Yeah.
up as Denise Austin's daughter.
Yeah, it was very cool. I mean, it wasn't that glamorous because we did live in Virginia. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we had this LA lifestyle. But I remember from a young age, people would come up to her at the grocery store, at the airport, and be like, "Oh my God, Denise, you saved my life. Like, you helped me
Wow.
leave my husband. You helped me lose 60 pounds. I owe you everything." And I think that's why I really wanted to begin in the fitness industry as well, because it's so rewarding because you can actually help others. I know that you guys probably feel that same way in your business and your field as well. But to have a job that you can really help others is really the goal.
Yeah, that's so empowering. I love that.
So when did you decide you were going to go from maybe professional athlete as a kid to deciding I'm going to help train people and talk
Yeah,
about sports?
appreciate the professional athlete because that's nowhere near it. Also, there's no women's professional lacrosse. I mean, there is, but
Is that what you played lacrosse?
I played lacrosse my entire life. I mean, I
cool.
played tennis because my dad was a professional tennis player as well. But
Whoa,
because
That I
Whoa,
didn't
whoa, whoa.
realize.
Yeah.
Genetic superiority.
Yeah.
Here?
Wait,
So-
so your
Your
dad's a professional tennis player?
I come from a huge tennis family. My aunt Tracy Austin won the U.S. Open, Wimbledon.
What is
And
going on?
So my family's just like sports. I grew up in sports world. Like I come from a very
wow.
athletic
Wait, so your
background.
aunt is Tracy Austin, won the U.S. Open?
Yes,
That's,
and
your,
Wimbledon.
that's
And Wimbledon?
your father's sister?
Sister, yeah.
Okay.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And your dad was a professional tennis player.
Yes. So I was supposed to be like the next tennis player, obviously, because I'm supposed
Yeah.
to carry on the legacy of my dad. But growing up in Virginia, I chose lacrosse and went to USC on a Division I scholarship.
Wow.
And it was really hard to think about a career while I was an athlete, though. I'm sure, as you know, soccer. That's really hard to. It's really hard to really do both and balance your life because lacrosse is 6 hours a day. And so I knew in the back of my mind I wanted to be a sports host. I wanted to do something in fitness because my mom, I loved it ever since I was little, but I didn't have time to think about a career until, my junior year of college. And at USC, everyone is entrepreneurial. Everyone is starting their own business and becoming a host. And so I felt really out of it. Playing lacrosse, I actually quit lacrosse. And I didn't, start doing my career until my last 2 years of college.
Did you have to give back the scholarship?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did you
Thank
miss?
you, Mom and
Did
Dad.
you miss hitting people with sticks?
No, I didn't at all. I've never really missed sports ever since. I know
Really?
it sounds crazy,
I
but
still miss sports.
yeah.
You know,
played
I was
college?
playing. Yeah, I played soccer in college, and then I played in a men's league like till the pandemic.
Well, also
Wow.
soccer is way more universal, and people have men's leagues out here. Lacrosse, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you need 20 girls at least to fill both teams, and to be somewhat competitive in LA, there's 0.005 girls out here know how to play lacrosse. No offense to LA girls, but so no, I haven't really missed it. I guess the only thing I miss is scoring a goal and that like euphoric feeling. But at the same time, I had a passion and I knew what I wanted to do, and it's really hard to put in so many hours a day when you have a passion. It's always in the back of your mind what you want to do. So yeah.
One of the big questions I wanted to ask is now that in LA officially gyms are closed again, I find it that it's much harder for me to like get in a routine of working out. How are your videos helping people work out? How do you think people should work out? How do we get, especially, you know, I know you do a lot of women workouts. Do you have any advice for men? Like how do they get enough weight to like keep the weight on without a bench press? What do we do?
Yeah, it's harder for guys right now, not to be sexist at all, but it's harder for guys because, you know, males are used to lifting heavy weights. And for me, I don't ever lift more than like 20 pounds. And so, I mean, in college, I would max out lifts and I just did not like the way my body looked. And that is my complete personal preference. So I finally found a way to work out. And, you know, during quarantine, not gonna lie, my business has definitely been 3 times as much because
Wow,
people can't go to the gyms.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do workout videos for people to stay in shape and just try to help get people moving at home. That's been kind of my mom's brand ever since she started in the 80s. It's been
Yeah.
my brand is home workouts. And so when this kind of came around, I was like, see, look, guys, you can work out at home. It's not
Yeah.
that hard. You just have to have a plan, have a set program, and schedule your workouts just like you would schedule any other meeting, any other Zoom call, conference call, just like you'd schedule an actual in-person workout class is what I always tell people.
And so take us through the Katie Austin app. What is the app, and how so if someone right now is about to download it because they're listening and they love you already, what do you want them to do once they're on the app?
Okay, so I have an entire on-demand section where it has 140 in-home workout videos. And these are follow along videos where you just press play and just get all sweaty. And so there's everything between like booty hit, yoga, bar, cardio, dance. So there's so many different options and there's something for every single person out there. And that's kind of my message is to be so inclusive with everyone, no matter what age you are, no matter what fitness level you are, you can always start. It's never too late to start. And so I do want to help, that girl out there who's ever listening to this, or that guy, and they're like, well, I don't have even 30 minutes. I don't have any weights at home and they just don't know what to do. Quick plug, the Katie Austin app is for you. No, just kidding. But I want to show you how you can work out in 5 feet of space.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so cool because a lot of people don't realize that. Like, I think there's still like this old school mentality that you have to have a gym membership. And, I think we learned in pandemic that there's an app for everything.
Yes.
Including fitness.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think that's booming right now. Like you probably said, is your membership skyrocketing?
Yeah, it's definitely doing better. Not to like toot my own horn here, but
Toot
I
it.
finally hired people. I've always been a one-man
Yes.
band. Finally got to hire
Sweet.
some people because COVID has been
So now
for me,
you're
unfortunately.
Katie Austin Industries.
I am. I turned myself to Katie Austin LLC. That is true, actually.
That is cool. So we
Yeah.
have COVID King and Katie Austin LLC here.
No, I never want to kind of, do better off of something so terrible happening.
course.
But at the same time, I know that I am helping so many more girls
Yes.
out there, which is cool.
That is really cool.
So what do you think about all these professional sports starting? What's your team?
Ooh, I'm stoked. Okay, so I'm a big basketball fan. My dad is an NBA agent, so he represents basketball players for a
Wait, I
living.
thought he was a professional tennis player.
He was, then went to law school, and then became an agent.
That's
So
genetics.
I grew up in a big basketball family.
Wow.
So I love the Warriors, Steph Curry.
I thought you said you're from DC. Shouldn't you be a
No, okay.
Wizards fan?
Quick side note about me. I call myself
Bullets?
America's
Yeah, the
biggest
Bullets.
bandwagoner because my dad is an agent. Every year, like his clients change around a little bit.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because he was an agent, he had no integrity.
Well, oh no.
Whoa.
So my dad has the
Low, low.
no. I mean I don't like agents sometimes because
Double agents.
they have terrible
Double agents. You don't like double
morals.
agents.
But my dad is someone who does have great integrity.
So now are you a Lakers
Single
fan this
agent.
year? Because we're about to win.
No, I'm actually negative Lakers fan.
Whoa,
Yeah,
why?
I'm so sorry.
That's the biggest bandwagon team you could join right now.
No,
Maybe we should
not
cut
in
this
it.
segment out.
Yeah. I think LeBron's gonna win everything.
Yeah, I do agree with that because his leadership, but at the same time, I'm not
Rested.
a Lakers fan.
Rested with those gold colors. Beautiful.
Nope. I'm gonna go.
man.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks this year. I'm saying it here
That's
first,
a great
right here
team
in
too.
this
That's a great
podcast.
team too.
Yeah.
I don't think the Bucks make it to the finals.
All right. Well, Giannis will prove you wrong.
Yeah. Giannis is
I
beast.
don't know. I don't believe in him yet.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
We could have a surprise team from the East.
We'll take this right now as
Sixers,
proof.
Yeah.
Miami, Sixers. Could be a
The
surprise
Sixers
team.
could be good.
What we were talking about earlier is interesting. NBA has created the bubble, and they have proven that quarantining works in America.
Yes.
In Florida,
Yes.
one of the worst hit states right now.
Crazy.
So
It's
the bubble is sort of like what the Asia, like Hong Kong did, Taiwan did,
New Zealand.
New Zealand did. It's strict. You can't go anywhere. You get tested, and it works.
Yeah.
And they even wear masks despite this. Better
Right.
than we wear.
I just think this has got to be so hard for the basketball players, though. Like, they are used to traveling and getting chicks and partying in every different city, and they finally have to like actually hunker down and be monitored.
But
I mean,
imagine
you're being paid.
imagine how good the basketball is. They're rested for 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
They're not
So
drinking. They're not partying.
No.
And they're
Are there-
with their
are there
teammates the whole
chicks?
time.
No.
I don't think so. No families, no girlfriends.
No.
Are you serious?
No wives or
family,
anything.
no
Because it was
girlfriends?
too many people to test. It was too, like they couldn't do
Oh my
it.
God.
So they're literally
They
full-time-
needed COVID King.
Yeah, they should have hired me.
Yeah.
That would have been a
The
good
official
contract.
NBA bubble doctor.
That would have been nice.
But yeah, no, it is
I have a few
living proof it
NBA
works.
patients.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt it. You actually have a lot of the Lakers.
Currently, they're in the bubble.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's great. So tell us about growing up with your dad being a professional tennis player, your mom being one of the world's most famous fitness gurus. You obviously naturally gravitated towards fitness and health and wellness in general, but it seems like the deeper passion you have is empowering people, making
For sure.
people feel good. It's not just doing it because you want to stay fit yourself. You want to make other people feel really good about it.
Yeah, and that's what's so rewarding about my job. And I think how I really got started as well is because I had my own like self-love journey. Like I wasn't always confident. I wasn't always like the most outgoing person. I mean, I've always kind of had a positive attitude and been energetic, but at the same time, those teen years can be so rough. Middle school, high school, even college. Like I didn't really find a voice and like have like self-love and confidence until I was like 22, I'd say.
What
and
helped?
so
yeah,
I think I just started focusing on myself and not on so much others, meaning a very toxic relationship. I was in a relationship for forever. And so once I kind of got a hold of like my power back, if that makes sense, and like found out what workouts worked for me. I wasn't happy with my body in college because lacrosse just bulked me up so much. And then I wasn't happy in high school because I was too skinny. And so I finally just found like this happy medium of like how I should live my life. And I know I hate the word balance, but like it's truly, I found that balance, what worked for me.
because I think that speaks a lot to a lot of patients I see all the time, and I think it doesn't just end when you're 25. This is like 35, 45,
Yeah.
after divorce, 55, when your kids
Yeah.
leave. Like life changes so many times, and you can always, when you respect yourself, respect your body, respect your, like just listen to what you want for once, for a change, you can change your whole
Totally.
life, and it changes your health in every way when you do that.
Totally. And I feel like you're
Love
always
that.
going to want something more, like you said. So for me, a lot of it helped also having a passion and knowing what I wanted to do in life. So that alone, also with my health and stuff, and getting rid of like toxic people in my life and realizing you don't have to be friends with every single person that you come across was another huge one for me.
So what do you do if you're friends with someone who's toxic and they're integrated in your life?
Actually, I mean, I'm bouncing around here with so many different things to say, but I think that was a huge part of how I found like who I am. Is I used to have a ton of friends, and it's more so quality over quantity of friends. And to know you don't have to be friends with every single person, you can definitely get rid of them in your life. And so I think that was a huge way that I actually grew up and I found who I wanted to be.
I love that because I think a lot of people kind of collect friends.
Yeah.
You know, you get numbers, you get numbers, you get numbers, you get
College.
numbers. Yeah, college, you know, right? College is just about collecting numbers and Facebook friends. And then you get to the real world and you're like, well, why do I even talk to this person?
Right. I mean, someone could live 10 miles away and I'll never see them. And if you
Yeah.
don't make that effort, then you won't have those quality friends. And so to know who will make that effort for you is also important.
Yeah, that's a good one. You went to USC also, right?
I did. Yeah.
Did you guys go to the same time?
I'm a few
Oh
years
no,
older. it looks
he's
like.
not. Should we say? No. Just
We're all 21.
yeah. I mean, I like to think of myself as 21. I feel like this whole
You have that
TikTok
bubbly
world,
energy.
I'm like,
TikTok.
Yeah.
So, are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok.
What are you doing on TikTok?
I do a lot of the viral dances.
Ooh.
I have almost 500,000 followers now.
Whoa.
So almost there. Crossing my fingers, I get to 500,000
Amazing.
very soon. But
Katie Austin on TikTok also?
yes.
All right.
Yes. And so I do the dances on TikTok, but yeah, I everyone thinks I'm like 18 on that app.
Cool.
I'm not.
Because you have that energy.
Yeah.
Should Dr. Toll do TikTok?
Yes, 100%.
I'm not a TikTok guy.
If you want Dr. Toll to do a TikTok dance, like and subscribe and put it in the comments. We
If
can
enough
see.
people comment that I should do TikTok, I'd consider.
All right. So if enough people comment,
How many? Do you have to do
below,
how many comments? You
want-
can't just do if
Well,
enough.
All right. Let's do. If we
It's like, how many comments do I need for the Chinese government to know everything about what I'm doing?
You can also do it on someone else's page.
Yeah,
like
I'll do this.
you can bring you to my TikTok.
That's
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Okay,
That's
so
right.
let's say, imagine here
Okay.
someone's listening to our show because they want to know about health and wellness, and maybe they want to try one of your workout videos. How do they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Katie Austin, the Katie Austin app in Android, Google Play, and Apple Store. And then I'm on Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and my blog. And
I
I
love
mean,
it.
Busy.
so many platforms.
busy.
Amazing. Well,
Well, thank you.
it's been great. Thanks for coming on.
All right. So Katie Austin, phenomenal app, phenomenal fitness guru and
What a
journey right
family
now.
tree there.
What a family tree. Nuts.
Unbelievable.
So the only question I have is your obvious next step is to go to law school and become an agent.
For sure. Yes. Psych. I'm
Have
not a
professional
school.
athlete children. And what else?
Oh, man. No, just
Unbelievable.
taking it one step at a time. And thank you guys so much for having me.
Our
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you for being
Thanks
here
for being here.
Katie Austin.
Well, that was great. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie. That was amazing.
So, everybody, if you enjoyed the episode, please give us a like. Please give
Yes.
us ask some questions in the comments if you want. But
Yeah.
share the show.
Yeah.
You're being selfish. You're not sharing. You're listening. Your friends want to listen. You got to tell them about the show. How are they supposed to know?
That's right. And the numbers are going up. So we know more people are listening.
true.
But as you
I want
guys
more.
listen, yeah, we want more. Yeah. Because we have a lot to share. And we're going to have
Share
such
the
amazing
show.
guests coming up.
Yeah.
Really cool lineups.
A lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So, thank you. And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week.
Thank you.
Or hear you next week or something.